Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon. Last night, Charlie Morton delivered another gem, 6 innings. I think he gave up 2 hits. It might have been 3, 8 strikeouts. He looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. Let's just be frank. I know he had those control issues for about, let's say, 4 or 5 starts, maybe a month, you can call it. But it was always like, dude, this guy's 39 years old and has made it this long in the league and has like been a Cy Young candidate, made All-Star games. Like, if anyone's going to figure that out, like he's going to figure out, he's figured it out. And I call him it every time. You guys are rats. If you were hating on Charlie Morton, you're just one of those little rats. You just take the cheese from wherever you get it. You're sitting there, you're hiding in your hole. You come out when he pitches bad. But at the end of the year, he's made as many starts as anyone in his baseball. He's going to pitch 180 to 200 innings. And he's like 5th in ERA now. So is he worth $20 million, guys? Can you finally say that? If you're ever holding on to anything, we're almost at the end of the season now. You can finally admit that you were wrong. You were wrong, because if you don't, you're just an idiot. And that's why I call you rats, because the rats don't admit they're wrong. The rats don't. The rats only come out at night. And
yes, yeah.
Go ahead.
We've been doing this for 4 years, the better part of 4 years almost. Like, the guy has his ups, he has his downs. But at the end of the day, I said it on this show. I don't even remember. This was probably like May. I can't remember. I was like, we're going to look up at the end of the year and Charlie Morton's going to have like a 3.5 ERA and be like, oh yeah, he was pretty good this year. Like, I just don't understand how people like, are you people goldfish? Like, we see it in our comments all the time. It's like, oh, these guys are telling us not to worry about Charlie Morton. Like, dude, like, seriously, are you a goldfish? Do you have like a 20-second like short-term memory span? Like, have you just forgotten? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this before we hopped onto this segment. It's like, if he was throwing 92, 93, like lost 3 or 4 miles of velocity on his fastball, maybe his curveball, which is the nastiest pitch in all of baseball, rated. You go look up the advanced metrics. It is the most valuable pitch in the entire league. If he lost a little bite on that and wasn't getting as many swings and misses and wasn't striking out people, maybe we'd have a conversation here. The facts are the guy's still throwing 96, 97 with the nastiest curveball in the league. He has postseason experience. He has invaluable experience in the locker room. He's now got like the 4th or 5th best ERA in the National League. The guy has been unreal. And he's pitching his best now. And guys, this isn't something new. This is who Charlie Morton has been this entire back end of his career. He shows up down the stretch. He's fantastic in the postseason. He's nastiest when it matters most. This is not new. It's not new that he starts a little slow and gets hot at the end of the year and pitches his best in the postseason. This is who he's been, and he's doing it again. And when you look at third starters across the league, I don't think there is a better one than Charlie Morton. I don't think there's a better one. And that's why I said that NLDS. You're going to get 2 starts from Max Fried. You're going to get 2 starts from Spencer Strider. You're going to get 1 from Charlie Morton, and you have this lineup before it. I've always said that NLDS is the only place we're going to lose. It's the only place we're going to lose. If we can get to a 7-game series, good luck beating this team, because we're going to score runs. You have to feel amazing, as long as we can stay healthy, having those 5 guys in a potential 5-game series. Obviously 3 guys, but those 5 games set up for you.
Yeah, it's one of the things. Like, there were talks, people saying like, oh, we should cut this guy. I mean, those are obviously the least intelligent of the least intelligent part of this fan base. But like, I just don't get the reactionary response. I do have this working theory that since the Braves are in the South and so many people down here are college football fans, and every single game of college football matters, that they just live and die by every single Braves game. And that's just not how this works. Like, guys have rough stretches. It happens. It's not like if your quarterback goes out there and throws 4 interceptions and so it's like, let's kill him. Like, it'll be fine. There's 162 games. And these are just the natural ebbs and flows of the season. I mean, what do you want the guy to do? Go out there and throw 8 innings and give up 1 run every time? He'd be the best pitcher. He'd have the greatest season in MLB history if he did that. And if he doesn't do that, it feels like
they also act like a 1-year, $20 million deal is like this massive, massive contract. When in reality, there's no way.
We gave it to Cole Hamels.
We gave it to Cole Hamels during COVID. The guy pitched 3.1 innings in a Braves uniform. You want to go complain about $20 million getting handed something? Complain about Cole Hamels. I can live with that. That's an acceptable complaint, because there were questions about Cole Hamels and his injury history before that. And he came in and he was injured and it was COVID and it was weird. But at the same time, even if it wasn't COVID, he probably wouldn't have made it through the entire season. You want to complain about something like that, do that. The other big part about this game, Marcell Ozuna, man. Like, holy hell. Like, holy hell. Like, wow. Like, what? Like, this guy has been a machine. I mean, an absolute machine. Like, it's
I really don't know what to say about it, man. He is he's probably if you talk about right here, right now, this very second, he might be the best player on the team.
like he had like I haven't looked at it since this recent hot stretch, like over the last week and a half. But I bet you if you go look at his OPS since May, it's around 1,000. Like he has been not.
There's a reasonable it's a reasonable opinion if you say excluding Ronald, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Who do you want up? Like Marcell Ozuna is no longer an insane answer.
And we were talking about, I mean, talk about a tomato can for like a year and like 2 months. Forget about the off the field issues. This guy sucked. Like he was awful.
We were talking about like giving away prospects just so somebody would take it.
Yeah. You know, it's well, I don't want to get into that, but it is funny. You'll still see people like, I still don't want him on the team. Listen, guys, this guy, and we've seen him in the playoffs. Like, let's not forget 2020. Let's not forget 2019 when he was on the Cardinals and ate us alive in that divisional series. Was probably the best player on the Cardinals team for that playoff run of that. Like, he is a clutch player. He is back. Like, we now have a 4-month sample size. We don't have to worry about him going back to tomato can. Like, he is now a integral part to the middle of this lineup, which if you had said this in April, I kind of
people would have thought you were joking.
April, before like preseason, I kind of believed. I think my projections, I had him hitting 31, 34 homers. So I had him bouncing back. But that first month, I don't know how he made it out. I mean, the Braves have more patience with some of these guys than like I even have. Like we always say, like you talk about goldfish brain wanting to let guys go. People will say Michael Harris needs to be in AAA after a month. Like those people are idiots. But even I was like at the point where I was like, all right, like
me too.
It might be time to let this guy go. I mean, he was hitting under, not forget 200. He was hitting under 100. He had a 0.85 average coming into May. He's approaching 270 with 30 plus bombs. He might hit 40 homers.
I think the funniest part about the whole situation, like I've brought this up on Twitter a few times. I'm like, guys, are we gonna get Marcell Ozuna another contract? Like, is he gonna get a second deal?
I don't even think it's crazy anymore. Like, I don't think
like that was unthinkable. Like that was unthinkable earlier this year.
We were gonna trade it. We were release him. I mean, there's at least 3 or 4 different times over the last year and a half where it was like, all right, like the Braves can release him now. Like it's okay. Like, and no one would have batted an eye. People would have cheered. And now there's a different reason to cheer. He is a 40 home run guy in the middle of the lineup.
I don't know if he'll stay this hot. Obviously, he probably won't. But like we are forgetting, like this guy almost won the Triple Crown. He almost took MVP from Freddie Freeman in 2020. like he I don't know, man. I do think it's clear that he is very well liked by his teammates, and I think that does matter a lot. We've seen it matter a lot with Jock and everybody. But
this is one of those.
The fact that he's playing well now is just
I mean, like Trey Turner turned it around because Philly gave him a big hug. Like I almost tweeted this out. It's like Philly needed to give that guy a big hug because he's weak-minded. No one was giving Marcell Ozuna a hug. People were booing this man consistently. He was getting booed by Braves fans in opposing parks. He was getting booed at home. He was the most hated player maybe in all of baseball by his entire fan base. And he turns into this man who is a totally different player. He's having fun. People are starting to like him more. He's smiling. He's vibing. It's one of those turnarounds that if like you can't even write up. I mean, he's gonna set a career high in homers. Like he might have already done it. Like it's one of those things. I can't explain.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
I will say his approach has improved. He stopped swinging at everything, like lackadaisically swinging at balls 3 feet off the plate. That surprisingly, what a shock! That helped a lot.
Yeah, well, he needs to go to Javi Baez and teach him a couple things. I mean, that guy. I bet some of those swings, and that's been all year, man. Like I don't even know. Is that guy even trying? Coming up after the break, we're going to break down the Pac-12 and their schedule this week. Give our winners from the Western Conference.